Hi, welcome to the Fit and Free Show. I'm Angel. Thanks for stopping by. I'm taking a quick break from some work. I'm a little out of my regular element, but well, this is my new regular element, so we're making do. Anyway, I'm gonna do a little body checking, a little moving, a little playfulness, a little stretching, a little strengthening, maybe a little balancing. And I invite you to join me to whatever degree feels good in your body. I'm hoping it feels good in your body. I do encourage you to listen to your own body and push just a little outside your comfort zone, but not so much that it hurts. That's my advice. Man, it is gorgeous outside. We've got some fresh snow. I'm going to take just a breath or so to root myself into the center of the earth, bringing my attention into the bottoms of my feet, hanging my spine from the center of the sky, shake it off a little bit. I'm going to actually just do a little free arm spinning at first to loosen things up. I'm a little stiff today, so taking weight off of the left going to the right, weight off the right going to the left, just letting the arms spin and hang freely, and then coming back into center, rooting myself into my feet again, connecting to the center of the earth. Give a nice sigh and just let go of yesterday like it was the past. Let go of the past like it was yesterday. Let go of the last breath. Make room for the new breath. I'm going to take a slow roll down, just checking in with the spine now. Nice and slow, one vertebra at a time if possible. Just noticing where there's hitches in my giddy up, where there's suppleness, where there's stickiness and stiffness, coming all the way down past the waist to the hips. And just hanging here for a breath or so, letting things relax, just letting the arms hang and the head hang, shaking that out a little bit, relaxing the belly, relaxing the back, really just hanging from the hips. And then I'm going to roll up nice and slow, still just checking in with the spine, still just noticing where it's supple, where it's sticky. I'm going to swing the arms back, coming into a nice counter stretch. Bring those arms together, bringing my eyes up to gaze at those fingertips, lifting the chest, pushing the hips forward a little bit. And then coming back to neutral. Let's do a swan dive with a relatively flat back, making sure not to lock those knees. And again, from the hips, forward folding, coming all the way down. And just relaxing the belly, relaxing the back. Letting it all go. I'm going to give myself a nice hug now, pulling up in the pelvic floor, back in the abdomen, and bending from the waist, where most of us think of is bending from the waist. I'm going to bring my arms together, left elbow over right first, and pulling these shoulder blades apart, giving a nice squeeze, giving myself a nice hug, rounding the spine, really just getting into that roundness, stretching into it actively, and then releasing all that again from the hips, just letting gravity do the unwinding, relaxing all of that. And I'm going to pull up this time right elbow over left, again from the waist, pulling up in the pelvic floor, back in the abdomen, tucking the chin, rounding the spine, pulling these shoulder blades apart, giving myself a nice hug. And then releasing all of that again. From the hips, let's add a little gentle twist here, using my hands on my left leg. To twist the torso a little bit, I'm actually going to raise this left arm, increase that twist, giving all those organs a nice little hug as well, squeezing, wringing out. Bring the eyes up to gaze past those left fingertips, and if you feel like increasing that even more, you can bend that right knee and aim that right shoulder for right knee. Kind of increases that twist. And then straightening that leg, coming back to forward. I'm going to use both hands on both legs to look behind me, still relaxing the belly, forward folding from the hips. And then coming over to the right side, using both arms on that right leg to give a nice little twist, and then raising this right arm up behind me, giving all those organs a wringing out in the other direction. Bring the eyes up to gaze past those fingertips or at the fingertips. Doing a little work there, and then coming back to center and just relaxing again through the belly. Using my arms for a little active stretching here, pulling the body forward or down as the case may be, gazing behind me, really trying to relax the belly, relax the back, elongate the torso, kind of draping it down the legs there, and bringing my attention back into the bottoms of my feet so that I can push from the center of the earth. I'm going to bend the knees, swing the arms back, coming back into that counter stretch, lifting the arms, lifting the eyes, pushing the hips forward, getting a nice back bend there, counter stretch, and then coming back to neutral. Shake all that out. Shake it to the left and shake it to the right. It's important to shake off the stresses of yesterday, make room for new stresses of today. I'm gonna do just a little more arm swinging. I've been working a lot with my arms, so they tend to get numb. And on that note, I'm gonna bring them behind the back, clasping hands behind back, and rolling the shoulders towards each other, rolling the elbows towards each other. I like to point my fingers as I clasp my hands. Let's come back into that counter stretch, using those fingers to kind of pull down on the arms, getting deep into that counter stretch and pushing the hips forward. And then I'm going to come forward, making sure not to lock the knees. Again, bending from the hips. Bring these arms with me this time. Keeping them clasped together, actively stretching through the chest and the back now. I like to draw my imaginary triceratops line. Ridges in the back here. Let's do a little twisting to the left and a little twisting to the right. And back to neutral. Just enjoying that stretch a little bit. And then I want to push up again from the feet, leading with these fingers with a relatively flat back. All the way back up into that counter stretch again and pulling down behind me. Pushing those hips forward. Protecting the neck there with the shoulders a little bit. And then releasing all that as my hands go numb. I'm going to do an additional bit of stretching to try to counter that numbness, which is a frequent problem for me. So using my right arm to support the left arm and drawing it across the body, and then trying to drop that shoulder and wiggle that around, just kind of exploring that stretch. I'm going to come over to the other side using my left arm to hold my right, trying to relax the right arm as I stretch, pulling it across the body, and then dropping that shoulder. Just enjoying that stretch for a breath or so, letting that go, shake that out. I'm going to do some little circles with the hands on wrists, just checking in with all those little bones, giving everybody a little love, a little check, one way and then the other way. And let's do big arm circles. I like to breathe in on the way up and then exhale on the way down. I'll try to adjust the clothes for you. It's a good time to remind you, you don't need any special outfit. Breathing in, lifting up, or any special area, or even any special moves to give yourself a little love. A little exploration of movement. A little stretching. Let's go the other way. Breathing in, lifting up, and then squeezing all that air out of the lungs before filling them back up, holding at the top, and squeezing that air out. Let's do one more of those. It's hard to talk and move and breathe all at the same time, so hopefully you're doing a better job of it than me. Let's shake all that out. I'm going to be keeping it nice and short and sweet for this session. Let's do a little small, medium, and large circle on the legs. Bringing my weight over to the right leg, bringing this left knee up toward left shoulder. Relaxing the shoulders, tipping the tailbone under a little bit. Let's do some rotations on ankle with foot while we practice balancing, and the other way. For me, the key is really in relaxing that supporting side, tipping the tailbone under, nice and long and strong through the core with the abdomen and spine working together. And then let's do some medium circles. Pardon the phone buzzes there, getting some messages. Medium circles from the knee one direction and then the other direction, and then let's add big hip circles. Still trying to relax the supporting side. If you need to, do this close to a wall so you can have support, although try not to counter lean. I'm trying to stay nice and long and strong still through the core. Let's go the other way with those hip circles. These are also nice to do laying on the floor. Explore that range of motion. And the big, medium, and large circles. I'm going to stomp that out and bring weight over to the left. Bringing this right knee up toward right shoulder. Relaxing the shoulders, tipping the tailbone under, relaxing that supporting foot. Let's do some little circles on this side. One direction, and then the other direction. Man, it's pretty out. Got distracted. Well, it's so pretty it made me fall over. That's just what happens when you change your focus sometimes. Coming back into balance. Let's do medium circles from the knee. Again, using support if need be. Or doing it a completely different way if you feel like it. It's all good. There's really no wrong way. Well, there might be a wrong way, but the point here is to listen to your own body. Let's do big circles from the hip. And explore and play and stretch a little, strengthen a little, dissipate stress, raise and change the thresholds of stress so that you can have a better chance of managing it. I hope that that ringing isn't interrupting my video. I see the phone has gotten active. I must be in an active spot there. Big circles from the hips and then letting that go. Let's do some more hip range of motion while I'm feeling like it. I'm going to bring my attention into the bottoms of my feet for just a little bit. Reroot myself into the center of the earth. And then I'm going to slide the hips over to the left, keeping both feet rooted. So the temptation is to take weight off of that far side, but I'm really trying to push from both feet, pulling down a little bit on the outside of the hip, trying to keep these hips relatively parallel to the floor, sliding to the right and sliding to the left. For me, that brings a stretch into the torso here. You can let me know in the comments where you feel that stretch in you and your body. Bodies are all different, perfectly themselves. Just exploring that stretch because it feels good. I feel it also in my tailbone quite a bit today because I'm stiff there. So just kind of loosening that up, going side to side. And then I'm going to take weight off of each side, being careful not to pop the femur out of the hip socket, but exploring that stretch a little. So taking the weight off of the right and pushing into this left hip. For me, that brings the stretch down here into the hip socket, and sometimes I like to kind of wiggle into that a little bit, just explore it. And then taking weight off the left, pushing into the right. Again, you can give that just a little wiggling, a little exploring. Let's do each side again, 1 or 2 more times. Pushing a little further now into the left, really stretching that out. I'd love to know if you care to share what stretches are your favorites and what gives you the most challenge, or maybe your least favorite. Maybe the favorite is the one that gives you the most challenge, or maybe it's the easier one, but I'd love to know any of that. Pushing again into the right, and 1 more time into the left. Real nice and deep now. Just stretching that hip socket. Again, being very mindful, listening to your own body. The point is not to hurt or cause any damage, but to increase range of motion, to dislodge stagnant energy, get the flow going. Pushing into the right hip, wiggling that around, getting a nice stretch through that hip. And then I'm going to come into a straddle position and do what I call hip dips, which brings the stretch into the inner thigh here. So dipping on the left, raising on the right. For me, that brings a stretch right here. And then raising on the left, dipping on the right. We got a jet out there. Haven't heard one of those in a while. Just exploring both sides of the inner thighs there with some nice stretching. I'm going to take that 1 step wider, which just changes the stretching up a little bit. For me, the wider I step, the more that brings the stretch up higher into the groin. All about keeping the flow going, keeping the body limber, keeping fitness among us, about us, within us, as fitness is a freedom. I'm thinking a lot about fitness and freedom lately, and how both of those relate to each other and to so many other things. I'm going to walk the feet back under the hips now. Shake it out. I'm going to end with just a little free arm swinging again, keeping it nice and short and sweet. I like to remind you, it doesn't have to take a long time or a lot of effort. Of course, you can always add more, but I think it's important to do a quick little body check, even if you don't have time or energy for more. And I find even a couple minutes, definitely 10 or 20 minutes, does the body a lot of good. So thank you for joining me. I hope you remember to love yourself, take good care of yourself, because you are worth it. I thank you for stopping by. I hope you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give me some questions and comments if you feel like it. Check out the description if you want to find ways you can support me and connect with me. I thank you if you do. Be good to yourself. Ciao for now.